Hi folks, in this demo I'll show you how PeerDB replicates geospatial data from Postgres to Snowflake. It shows replicating data types like geography and geometry, which lets you store lines, polygons, and points. Let's get started. I have an RDS Postgres database which is empty. I'll go ahead and create a table which is locations. And if you see, locations has geometry and geography types, right? Next, I'll insert a couple of rows. First is I'm inserting 2 points for the geography and the geometry type, right? Next, I'll insert line strings for those types. So if you see, I inserted 2 rows, right? Next, what I'll do is I'll go to PeerDB and kick off the mirror. I'll use the CDC based mirror, which uses logical replication under the covers. I'll call this as locations underscore CDC. I'll choose the source peer as Postgres and I'll toggle the locations, right? Like, and I'll keep the destination table name as it is, as the same, right? And I'll choose the destination peer as Snowflake. I'll also show you that this particular table does not exist on the Snowflake side, right? And let's see whether mirror automatically creates the table. For initial copy, I'll choose yes, which means that the existing couple of rows on Postgres should be first copied before the replication starts, right? The rest of them, I'll leave it as defaults and kick off the mirror, right? And let's see the status of the initial copy. Let's refresh the page. And if you see the initial copy has completed. And now let's see whether the data exists on the Snowflake side, right? If you remember, the table did not exist. Now the table is automatically created and you see the data. And under the covers, PeerDB created the table with the geography and geometry data types on Snowflake too. So it is preserving nativity, if that makes sense. Now let's go ahead and insert a couple of more rows. First, I'll insert a polygon, if you're seeing on the screen, right? And next I'll insert a collection, a geometry collection and a geography collection, right? And now let's go ahead and go ahead and see whether the rows are there on Snowflake, right? Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, if you see, the 4 rows are there here, right? So this demo shows you, replicating lines, points, collections, and polygons, right? Next, I'll insert a invalid geometry on the Postgres side. So this is a sample invalid geometry, if you see, right? And it says that this is not valid, right? Let's go ahead and insert this on the Postgres side. And the thing is that, like, Postgres does allow storing invalid geometries, right? Whereas Snowflake doesn't, right? In those scenarios, what we do is we actually log that, if you see, right? Like, we log that particular geometry, right? And on the Snowflake side, that is not captured. If you see, like, if I do select star from collections, right? Give it a second. And if you see, the 5th row is here, but then the geometry is null, right? The reason is because Snowflake does not allow invalid geometries, right? And here the geometry was invalid because I actually created a line with just 1 point, right? And this is an invalid geometry which Postgres allows, but Snowflake does not allow. And in those scenarios, we capture that in the log, as you're seeing here, right? So there is no data loss from that perspective because it will be present in your logs. But on the Snowflake side, that will be a null, right? So this demo cap shows you how PeerDB handles the various data types that geospatial use cases have. Hope you enjoyed the demo and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye-bye.